to sell it as different, that this, the states can control it, and I just don't see a difference between that and the CON. I don't understand where they think that it's different. The process is the same. You still have to go through the process of choosing who are the delegates to attend, who is going to control the agenda and the rules that the thing is operated under. I have read Article 5 over and over and over again, trying to find this special silver bullet, this hidden pressure point that nobody else knows about, that is going to eliminate all those problems. And what I see is, once the sufficient number of states, 34 states, call for some kind of a gathering, that process still has to be made. Those ideas, those rules, those regulations, those governing principles of it still have to be put together, and there is absolutely not a single word in Article 5 that says anything about that. And what I look at is the atmosphere, the day and age that we live in. And what I see happening everywhere you look is that we now have to be such a diverse society, and we now have the whole issue of you're not allowed to say illegal immigration anymore, it's undocumented workers. And it would seem to me that the argument would be made, if we're going to make changes in our Constitution, that we would want to bring in those folks, coming up with a way to make them legal, and make them citizens of our country. So we need to have a little group of them to be represented at such a gathering. And of course, we would have to, have unions represented. We would have to have youth represented. I mean, we just want to have a completely open society represented here. And so I can see this being thrown into the process of how we select who's a delegate at this thing. Do they know anything about the Constitution? Nah, it's not important. Do they, do they share the principles of what government should be? Share it with those who are now calling for an Article 5 convention? No. So those are the dangers that I see. You're talking about a country where 75% of the American people stood up and said no to Obamacare, and yet they passed it anyway. Does it matter what we think? No. They have a very experienced operation on how to control a debate, how to control the process on how these things are done. And of course, they've got a very compliant news media to go with it. So what is it? Where is this magic silver bullet that they think that this is none of this is going to happen? One of the things that really bothers me the most about the proponents of an Article 5 convention is that they seem to believe that they live in our own little world, and there isn't a progressive, a liberal, a discouraging word anywhere that's going to stand up against them, or even try to get involved and usurp the process, which is what they do day in and day out. But suddenly this new world, this, on the other side of the yellow brick road, that isn't going to exist. We are going to control what happens here. I haven't experienced that in anything I've ever worked in.
Well, do you think though that that's being disingenuous because on their part, because we know that we have Mark Meckler and the Tea Party Patriots hosted this conference on the Constitutional Convention with Harvard Law and the law professor Lessig. So they know, and that was mostly progressives, so they know the progressives are there. So is that just a matter of them trying to be disingenuous with the American people since they've been meeting with the progressives?
Well, see, that's not known by a lot of people that they're doing that. And they go to meetings of conservatives telling them we're going to control what's going to happen here, because those of us who try to point out these fallacies are talked down, and of course now the argument is, well, this isn't a con. What you're talking about is a con. This is a states convention. This is an Article 5 states convention. And as I said in the beginning, I can't find the difference. I can't find the difference in the process. It's semantics. It's using terms as a way to get you what you want, but the reality, when it comes down to it, is still the same. And so that is that's the major concern I see, that they at least in what they're advocating, they're living in a Pollyanna world, and that's not going to be the reality. The other thing is that we know that the progressives are looking at this. They are watching what's happening, and with great interest. And it was Chuck Baldwin that said in an article several years ago that they are salivating over this. They're watching conservatives put the process in place. What's the number one thing the progressives want to do? They want to get rid of the Constitution. It's in their way. They can't make the changes they want to make. They can't, they've got these restrictions on what they want to do. So to get the Constitution on an operating table and be able to cut it to shreds, to pick and choose what they want to have in it, or to eliminate it completely, they can't wait to have that happen. And if conservatives are the ones that are stupid enough to do that, so be it. How wonderful. And we'll just take over the process. I think one of the things that Americans really fail to understand, and I think particularly conservatives, is how widely organized these people are. We talk about Obama being a community organizer, and well, what is that? These community organizers are absolutely flooding this country. They have targeted conservative states like Colorado, Virginia, now Wyoming, other states, to take what were conservative states and turn them into liberal states. And that is taking a toll, and they're winning at that. And they use very scientific and technological processes to do that, to target people, to know who their enemy is, to know who their friends are, how to find them, and how to get them where they want them to be, and control elections. They're very sophisticated in this. They have massive war chests in order to do the things they want to do. We have a whole matrix of non-governmental organizations, thousands of them, that each have their own funding, they each have their own agendas, they all work very closely together, and they are putting their ideas in place. And our side, the conservative side, has none of this. How in the world do these proponents of an Article 5 convention believe that they can control the process when they are up against such a massive force that is very determined and knows exactly what they want to do?